Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here for Painkillers with the free Painkillers Challenge. Now, Painkillers Challenge, I know that sounds like it's focusing on pain, but I just call it that to get your attention. I really want it to be a perfect health challenge because I want to kill your chronic pain, help you kill your chronic pain, and kick it to the curb so that you can start living the life that you deserve. That's my overriding goal and purpose of this challenge, is to share with you the things that have worked the best for me over the last 37 years as I've been working with and living with, and I say thriving with chronic pain, because I, at a very young age in my 20s, got chronic pain, and I decided it was not going to be my life. And since not being my life, I've had an incredible life, and I want to make sure that everybody else who's suffering with chronic pain knows that they can do that too. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can turn around the situation that I was in, if my sister and my kids and other people I know with chronic pain can turn around the situation that they found themselves in, then I know that you can too. So today's challenge is a really powerful one, or it's been a really powerful one for me. I mean, I keep saying this, but the truth is, you guys, I'm only sharing with you what's worked for me. I've tried thousands of things over the years. It's been 37 years that I've been dealing with these things, and actually, it's probably been closer to 58, because I was sick as a kid. I just forgot. I have a tendency to just like block out things that are unpleasant and things that are super bad. It's a skill I've developed over the years, but until I started doing this chronic pain challenge, I didn't even realize that or remember that as a kid, I continually had, time and time again, tonsillitis. I spoke like a rusty gate hinge. Most of you are probably saying, well, Sharon, you still speak like a rusty gate hinge. But I've gotten used to my voice now, so it doesn't bother me as much. But I remember when I was a little kid being really self-conscious, because I always had this gravel, gurdy sound to my voice, the quality of my voice. And it was because my throat was always so inflamed and swollen, and I had tonsillitis and laryngitis and all kinds of things as a kid. And then whenever I got like a cut or a hangnail or stubbed my toe, or I was a tomboy, so fell down and cut myself, everything on me would get infected. I got infections really, really easy as a child. I just forgot about all of that stuff. And so it's probably been 57, because I'm going to be 58 next week, 57 plus years that I've been actually dealing with these things, and I didn't even realize it. But it wasn't until my 20s that I really got hit, my 21, I believe I was, when I really, really got hit with just a massive barrage of chronic illnesses that took me totally out of the game. And I mean the game of life. My life sucked for a long time. Like, I don't think I could really get out of bed except to go to doctor appointments for probably till I was 24, 24 and a half. And I think I started to change a little bit after about 2.5 years of it, when the doctor said, hey, you're done. We can't do anything for you. You're just going to have to figure this out and live with this, because we don't know what's wrong with you. We've tried all the drugs that we think can possibly mask the symptoms of what's going on with you. You know, this was back in the 80s, yeah? Yep, would have been 81. So this was back in 1981, before the internet, before any of the opioid drugs or the things that they're using for pain now were ever even thought to be used for people that have pain. So I just had to figure it out and suck it up or die. And I guess when I was given the alternative to live the way I was living or die, was what really triggered for me the changes that had to happen within me to help myself get better. Anyway, today's topic, let's skip right to that, is about questions. Do you know that we all have an overriding question that runs our life? We all have a primary question. I learned this from Tony Robbins, and I never thought anything of it until I woke up from a coma in the hospital after having a sudden cardiac arrest. And the first thing out of my mouth was, bleep your ears if you're going to be offended, but it was, what the fuck? That was the first thing that I uttered after waking up from a coma. And about a week or so later, when I was out of the hospital and doing some thinking and realizing, I remembered the primary question topic that I'd learned from Tony Robbins years and years earlier, but I never thought about from the time I learned it probably till the moment that I remembered this. And I thought, oh my God, my primary question in my life for about the last 10 years or so has been, what the F? WTF. And every time anything happened that didn't match my idea of how it should go, I would get super frustrated. And in my head and in my life, probably, I don't know, tens of thousands of times a day, I would think, what the F, what the F, what the F. Well, now, think about how disempowering that question is. If I am always judging something as being wrong, how does that make me feel? Okay, it makes me feel horseshit. It makes me feel bad. It causes me to drop dead because I don't think I can handle what's going on around me. And I'm so frustrated by what's going on around me that I don't realize what asking that question is doing inside of me. And it was doing really bad things inside of me, up to and including death. So when I started, it was like a light bulb went off. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't seen this or noticed this before. But I remember thinking the first thing, and my sisters had been wagering what would be the first thing I said when I woke up. Now, of course, they were all hoping and praying that I would wake up because at that time, nobody knew for sure. But yeah, good old WTF came flying out of my mouth with a room full of doctors and nurses and my family. And I wasn't embarrassed because, you know what? I just woke up from a coma and I didn't know better. And I probably would have said it anyway, let's be honest. It's me we're talking about. So as I started thinking about this whole primary question thing, I thought, oh my goodness, I need to come up with a better primary question to run my life than WTF. So I will admit this didn't come overnight. It took me several days of really keeping it in the back of my mind about thinking, okay, what would be a better question in this? And I probably battled around or tried out, you know, a bunch of different questions. But what I finally landed on was, what am I creating now? What am I creating now? Now, how much more empowering is the question, what am I creating now, than what the fuck? When I say, what am I creating now, it doesn't judge what's going on or the situation outside of me. It judges, or it makes me pay attention to the question that I am asking and the role what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling about the situation and what's going on around me, and my ability to react in the way that I choose versus judging everything as being wrong. So an example or other ways of thinking about this that really help me with my chronic pain are if I'm asking questions about my pain all the time that are disempowering me or making me feel worse, is that going to make me feel better or is that going to make me feel worse? If I'm asking questions like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? Why do I always hurt? Why am I always in so much pain? Why do I have pain 24/7? Why does nobody help me? Why does nobody care about me? Why am I so alone? Why am I so depressed? Why am I so, angry? Why can't I do the things I used to do? If I am asking any of those things as my primary question, or heaven forbid, if I am asking all of those things as my primary question, because I will admit, I went through several periods in my life that I asked a lot of those questions all day long as I was laying in bed and wishing I were not here anymore. Now, I will tell you, I am so glad that that wish did not come true. So the challenge today is hard but simple. And if you don't know, guess what? The people around you know what your primary question is. And I actually asked a couple of people, and that's how I found out that they were wagering on what I would say when I woke up. As I started working on this, I was coming up with a new primary question, I asked a couple of my family members and friends. I said, hey, you guys, I heard about this primary question thing from Tony Robbins, and I'm wondering what you think my primary life question is. Because supposedly we all have this question that rolls around in our head all the time, and we filter our entire life through it. How scary is that? We filter our entire life, what we see, what we don't see, what we're open to, what we're not open to, what we will do, what we won't do. what we even see as possibilities for ourselves is filtered through this freaking primary question. So that horrified me. And that's why I actually went on a passion trip for the next couple days to try to find out and replace that primary question. And guess what? What the fuck still pops into my mind every once in a while, but not 10,000 times a day. It's just when somebody does something really outrageous. And guess what? It's immediately followed up with, what am I creating now? Because if I'm thinking, what the fuck did you do that for? I'm judging that what they did was totally wrong or whatever, instead of, okay, well, what am I creating now? Am I creating what I want by my reaction to this as being horrible? You know, what else is possible? So today, the challenge is figure out what your primary question is. What is the primary question that's driving you? And I will tell you, for a lot of us with chronic pain, it's, why do I hurt all the time? How come I can't make this pain stop? You know, why the hell does my back hurt all the time? Why do my hips hurt all the time? Okay, I admit I use that one way too often. And then I say, what am I creating now? And the trick is to follow up. That question isn't going to go away probably 100%. My WTF has not gone away 100%, believe me. I mean, people will say stuff sometimes and I'm like, really? WTF? I mean, I can't believe you said that to me. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've had chronic pain for any period of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People say the dumbest, most asinine, most irritating, most disrespectful things to us when we have chronic pain that you can even imagine. And the sad thing is it comes from professionals. It comes from people that we expect to know better. It comes from our doctors. It comes from our nurses. It comes from our pharmacists. It comes from our family and friends. And I don't think they even mean it. I just think that they're clueless. And it's okay to be clueless, because I can say, what am I creating now? And I can just put a little bubble around me and ignore it, because I consider the source and that they have no clue, and then it doesn't hurt me anymore. So what is your primary question? And if you want extra credit, ask what would be a better primary question for your life, and actually create and pick a new primary question like I did, because I will tell you that has made all the difference since my sudden cardiac arrest in terms of me transitioning my life to a whole new level. Go out, make it an awesome day, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm excited to hear your primary questions. Ask, or share them down below. And if you're brave, share what your primary question has been up until now. And if you want some help with coming up with a new question, I had a lot of practice and time and energy working on that and figuring it out. And I would be glad to offer up some suggestions. And then you always have to do what feels right to you and your gut. Like when I said I tested different primary questions, I did. I tested them and I did a gut check on them. And if it didn't feel right to me, it couldn't be my question. And that's how I went through so many before I came up with what am I creating now. And I actually, remember we learned how to muscle test? I actually muscle tested the two. What the fuck? What the fuck? Guess what? What the fuck is not a good primary question for me. Now, for some people, that might be an awesome primary question, but for me, not so much. And then I got to, what am I creating now? 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 Much better primary question for me. So you can always do that. If you don't think you know if it's right or not, and you're having trouble testing your gut and saying, oh, is my gut right? Do a muscle testing. Do the arm or the whatever method you picked that works for you. All right, I'll stop talking. Go have an awesome day. Get a primary question that empowers you. Bye. See you tomorrow.